Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for another episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. And today's video is part 3 of my Jeepers Creepers retrospective. I've already talked about the first two films in the franchise, being Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2. And tonight, I just got back from the theater where I had the honor of seeing Jeepers Creepers 3. This is a film that I've been waiting for 14 years. The last Jeepers Creepers film came out in 2003. There was rumors for many years that there was going to be a third film, and I've been waiting for it for a long time. I announced that the third film was going into development back in 2015. I've been following the production of this film for a couple of years now, and when it was announced that this film was going to be opening in September of this year, I thought it was just, a hoax. I said, I haven't seen anything for it. And I cannot believe that I just got out of the theater and seeing this film, and I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm not going to be giving any spoilers away. This is going to be completely spoiler-free. This film was playing for a one-night only engagement. To talk about the film a little bit without giving too much away, this film is really... And Victor Salva summed this up in one of the special features on Jeepers Creepers 2. He said that this is almost like Jeepers Creepers 1.5, because Jeepers Creepers 3 takes place between 1 and 2. So it picks up right after the end of the first film. And what's happening in this film is you have a task force led by the character of Sheriff Tash Tego, who enlists the help of Sergeant Stubbs, who was a character in the first Jeepers Creepers film, and this is a task force that is going after the Creeper. Now, the sheriff knows what the Creeper is, and he's faced the Creeper before. So he has all these people that have been affected by the Creeper from the previous 23-day cycle that are hunting the Creeper down to stop his reign of terror. That's about the only plot I want to give you on this film, because I really went into this film knowing very little. There wasn't a lot of information about it. That was pretty much the synopsis of it. I did watch the trailers and the couple of clips that were released earlier this week prior to the release. I'm going to grab my notebook here real quick because I want to talk about some of the actors that are in it. So, Sheriff Tash Tego is played by Stan Shaw. I'd seen him in quite a few movies. He was in Harlem Nights. He was in Harlem Nights, he was in Snake Eyes, I loved him in Fried Green Tomatoes, movies like that. You also have Meg Foster, fantastic actress. She plays Galen Brandon. You also have Gabrielle Ha, who plays Addison Brennan. You have Chester Rushing, who plays Buddy Hooks. Of course, you have Brandon Smith as Sergeant Tubbs, who's returning from the first film. And then, who cannot say enough great things about Jonathan Breck, who is returning for his third go-around as the Creeper. Now, Jeepers Creepers 3 is a fan film. I can say that 1,000%. This film was made for fans of these two films. This was not a movie that had a huge budget. I've heard a few people prior to doing this video that are friends of mine that are commenting saying, oh, the movie looked like it was shot on a very cheap budget. It was shot on a small budget. Things have changed a lot in independent horror films and small horror films, just in general, and I know that from a lot of the research I've done in the past and also listening to the Movie Crypt podcast with Adam Green and Joe Lynch. Horror films and sequels don't get the money that they normally get, back in the early 2000s. I know the first Jeepers Creepers film was shot for, I believe, $10 million. The second one was shot for $17 million. I believe this one was probably shot for much less than the first one was. But having said that, this film was fantastic. I absolutely love Jeepers Creepers 3. And I know I'm fanboying it out. I'm a fanboy. I'm a fan of the Creeper. I'm a fan of this series. People should already know that, have come to my channel. And it's a movie I've been waiting for a long time. But that being said, I was apprehensive going into it because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want it to taint what I felt for the first two films. I really was hoping that this would be a great film. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it from beginning to end. I think it was so great. It ties in some things from the first film to this film. It ties in some things into the second film. And I really just think everybody in this film did a fantastic job. I absolutely loved the cast. There's a lot of humor in this film, and I think they really have over the course of 3 films, giving the creeper his own personality. In the first film, my wife and I were talking about this on the car ride back. She said that like in the first film, and I agree 100%, that you didn't know what the creeper was. And that's what made it so terrifying. As you've kind of learned what the creeper is and how he works, they've given him more of a personality, and I really love the way that he was developed over the course of these 3 films. Again, I don't go into these films looking for a gigantic budget. I go into them looking for a good story, and I really love the story in this one. In fact, I like the story in this film better than part 2. One thing I always had a problem with was part 2 is I thought there was way too many characters, and I said that in my review. In this film, I felt like it was condensed a lot more, and it really harkened back to back to the first film, where the creeper was stalking small groups of people instead of large groups of kids like they were on the bus in the second film. Not to say that I've always said I love Jeepers Creepers too, but I just really love the look and feel of this one. Plus, I have to say that Victor Salva did a fantastic job writing and directing this film. It is fantastic. I absolutely love the cinematography in this, and I know that Don Fauntleroy, who was the cinematographer for the first 2 films and has worked with Victor Salva many times, did the cinematography for this one, and the film looks fantastic. There are some amazing shots in this film. Another thing I have to say that I absolutely was so, like a little kid, just so excited on Christmas Day, was seeing the creeper truck in this film again. It is fantastic seeing that truck again, because that was an element I really thought was sorely missing from the second film. It's another character, and they utilized it beautifully in this film. Yes, there are some special effects in this that people might say don't look as clean as some other films, but the thing that I loved about it is it reminded me of an old monster movie. It reminded me of a movie I would have watched when I was a kid. Yes, people might find flaws with it, but that's what I loved about it. It was fantastic. Another thing that I have to talk about that was just amazing is that there was people in the audience that worked on the film that were in the audience where I watched it. And I got to speak with one of the producers of the film, who told me that it was just a fantastic meeting him, and fantastic talking to him about this film. I completely geeked out and thanked him for all the work that was put into this film. There was some people that had done the location scouting and some of the setup for some of the locations. They were there as well, and it was just they were sitting behind my wife and I, and we kept hearing them talking throughout the film. But they were so cool about it. I was like, oh, usually you get a big group of people behind you, you don't know what to expect. And this was a theater where you don't normally go to. But these guys were so respectful of the film. I can't say that about everybody in the theater, but for these guys, they were so respectful of the film. And after the film had ended in the credits, there was a little interview with Jonathan Breck, who played the creeper, and that was really a nice extra to see him speak about the character and how it's evolved over these years and how people are discovering these films now. How the creeper, how this film was made for fans, which I completely agree with again. But afterwards, my wife heard them talking about, like people in the credits, people that worked on the crew and things like that. And I happened to be able to speak with them, and it was fantastic. And they did tell me that there are plans for a 4th film, and there's also plans for a television series involving the creeper. And I'm so excited that the creeper is back after all these years. This film just blew me away, and like I said, it's not that I'm just a fan of this series. It's one of my favorite horror film series. I love these films. I love the creeper as a character, and I can't say enough great things about him. And I think the filmmakers did a fantastic job on this film. Everything in it for me worked. The editing, the writing, the direction, the music, the acting, it was perfect. This is my opinion of it, but I would give Jeepers Creepers 3 5 skulls. So yeah, that is my review of Jeepers Creepers 3. Again, no spoilers. Really want people to be able to check this out. My wife was looking at some stuff as we were driving back from the theater. Again, I just got home after seeing it. And it does look like it is going to be playing in more theaters. They're going to be slowly releasing it out, I guess. I don't know if they're going to be doing it by week or every other week or how it's going to work, But as far as I could be wrong, but I believe it's the 4th of October that it's going to be in theaters again for another one night showing. So I definitely recommend, if you're a fan of this series, if you're a fan of the first two films, definitely check this out. I can't guarantee that everybody's going to love it as much as me, but for me, it was perfect. It's my favorite movie this year. I do like it more than Jeepers Creepers 2. I just was blown away, and I think it's just because I've been waiting for this film for so long, and it didn't disappoint me. It was beautifully shot. I loved every element about it, and I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to have it in my Jeepers Creepers collection. The Creeper is back. I'm very, very fucking happy to have seen this. And please, if you guys have seen the film, if you were able to go to one of the showings tonight, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. But I'm going to ask you guys, please, no spoilers. I really want people to experience this film for themselves, especially fans of this series. It really means a lot to me if you guys could just not put any spoilers down below. But thank you guys so much for supporting this little Jeepers Creepers retrospective. This is the final video in the series. I've had a blast doing this, and I'm just so happy that the Creeper is back. So thanks a lot, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned for some more cool videos I have coming real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.